In the work that I do in trans awareness, 90% of my clients are law firms. They're really trying to get ahead of this agenda. So I would say that if I was applying to a law firm for a training contract now as a trans person, I wouldn't think that my status did count against me. So really you need a senior manager at the top of your organisation who is going to push the trans agenda. Get your trans policies updated and written and consult as many trans people as you can to do that, because all our experiences are very different and going to one person can skew your policy. How would your switchboard handle a trans woman with a slightly deeper voice? How would they handle that? Have they been trained? Reception and security staff, how do they handle pronouns and titles? Your client-facing staff, have they been trained in trans awareness? And also when you're updating any documentation and policies within the organisation, reviewing how much gender language you actually need in that paperwork. Can your staff, are they empowered to challenge prejudice of any type within your organisation? Do they know that they can? And secondly, have you trained them to do that? Trans allies are so important. Trans allies have two main functions. Obviously they have to keep up with the subject matter that's very ever changing, but their job is to, when they go to LGBT meetings and things, they're wearing what I call the T hat. They're making sure that the trans agenda doesn't get lost. When you're recruiting, make sure that your application forms, do you really need to ask gender on application forms any longer? Think about that. Get your adverts out into the trans press, and make sure that your HR staff are trained in trans inclusivity and they kind of know the issues. So what advice would I give to somebody who was trans but not out in a law firm? Well, my first piece of advice is do it as soon as you are able. Also look at the diversity statistics that the firm publishes on their website and in their tenders. Are they up to date? Are they paying lip service to the statistics, or are they really updating and publishing and changing them and pursuing them? Many law firms tell me that they don't actually have any trans people in their staff and they're not quite sure how they're going to approach the subject or research this material. Firstly, I always say actually the statistics kind of prove 1 in 100 that you probably do have a trans person on your staff. Maybe just because they're not out in your firm doesn't mean to say they're not there. So that's why it's right to make all these adjustments.